prevalent it really is. Because when you get to Italy and you get to France, they may go have, afternoon break instead of reporting this. I mean, they may not be interested in it and reporting it or finding out or sending it for pathology. It's like, oh, we took it out, looks good, we'll see you next time.
Right.
Right? So they're going and they're saying, well, how diligent are people, as surgeons, actually reporting this? Does the pathologist know that they need to report this? Maybe they're just treating the patient.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really not sure what's happening. There is, from what I was talking to different people in industry, saying that Allergan has already changed their formulation of texturing, and they're going to be introducing something new without really telling people they're introducing something new. Or they're going to come out with an all-new version of texturing that's, quote, better.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things are a question of, should you use textured implants at all? Now, initially it said it only happened with textured implants.
Right.
Now they say it happens with saline implants as well. But there's a caveat to that. It's not that it happens with saline implants. It's that you may have, or not saline, smooth and textured.
Okay.
It's saying that it only happened with textured, and now they're saying, well, it can also happen with smooth. And the caveat to that is that the person that has ALCL that has smooth implants at one time in their life had textured.
Ah.
Okay.
But they're trying to deflect that it's texturing by saying it could happen with both.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mention that all these people have had textured implant in their history somewhere.
Right.
So it's this whole presentation of studies and data and the author's version of presenting their conclusions that are way off of accuracy. So when I go and I present this to physicians, that's my version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Saying, what do you do in the end? I don't know. I'd probably stay away from textured implants and be aware of it might, potentially existing.
Right.
Sure.
Now, what's the real incidence? I don't know, because it never happened, or we were never aware of this until we started using it in the U.S.
Right.
And we also know there's such a backlash against using it in the U.S. that they did a study that, so when they do studies and they publish studies, they rate them, right? They rate them as, number 4 equals you and your friends thought about this while you're having wine and came up with a conclusion and we decided to publish it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 4 level of evidence. Then there's a 1 level of evidence, which is double-blinded. No one knows what's going on. There's a placebo involved, right? And it's a current study. As you do something, you're collecting the data. It's no reviewing charts or anything like that. It's here's the data. It's actively happening. We're going to report what it is. That's the most accurate type. So that's the number 1 kind of study.
Right.
In plastic surgery, ones pretty much don't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do that and say, hey, I'm going to put this implant on one breast and this on the other. Let's see how it works. No one's going for that.
No.
Right.
So ones essentially don't exist. 2s are a rarity. 3s, if you're lucky. 4s are where most articles are at.
Right.
So there was another study where they went and put a textured implant shaped on one side and a round implant smooth on the other side, took a picture, and then presented it to doctors and patients to see if one looked, if they could tell which side had the shaped one on. The problem with that is if I showed you what anyone looked like in the operating room immediately after I put an implant in and their body hasn't had time to stretch out or accept the implant, you would have no idea.
Right.
That whole premise was thrown out the window. They said, I just put these in, tell me which one's which. I'm like, I put 2 implants in right now, tell me which one's which, and they'll both be the same one. You won't be able to tell because I just put them in.
Yeah.
That study received, I think, a 2.
Huh.
Yeah. Why? Because we don't like textured implants in the U.S.
Yeah.
Now, how can I come up with that conclusion? Because after this, their whole entire premise is there's no need for textured implants. These authors also happen to be authors that do all of the other studies.
Ah.
So you see how this is one big convoluted mess with ALCL.
Absolutely.
And it all has to do with probably allergen, and it all has to do with their texture and them not wanting to go down with the disease or the disorder. And I don't know where their money is or how big it is, but I'm thinking it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Now, all of that said, nobody wants to hear this story from me, particularly, knowing that I'm not out to be a martyr and go and take down Allergan. That's not my goal. But I certainly look at it with a high level of skepticism and suspicion. Now, when patients come in, where will I use a textured implant? First, I'll tell them a shorter version, patient-friendly version of this that I just told you, which is a lot of bias. It's hard to say what's going on. You can get pretty good looks no matter what we use if you go under the muscle. If you go on top of the muscle and you don't have a lot of breast tissue and you want to avoid a lift, which is why we're going to be going on top of the muscle, or there's some other anatomical issue for going on top of the muscle. So, two main things. You don't have a lot of breast tissue. If you don't have a lot of breast tissue and we put a round implant in there, it may look like a ball.
Right.
If we use a lower profile implant, it may look natural, but you may not get the size you want, right?
Right.
So you're kind of defeating the purpose of putting implants in if you're going, well, I'm not getting the look I want. Why would I do this? And I'd say, I don't know. If we use the shaped implant, you absolutely will get the look that you want, and we won't have to worry about seeing the round ball stuck on you. And that's the situation that you would want to use it in.